Hello everyone, I'm here today with Dan Austin of Austin's Jewelers. We're here to talk about appraisals, misconceptions about appraisals, different things about insurance policies that have to do with appraisals, and just trying to get some of the facts straight. Dan's here joining us today to answer some questions. First of all, Dan, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Austin?
I had just graduated from Eastern with a couple degrees in psych 100 years ago, and I was gonna save the world. I had Mother Teresa syndrome, and I'd managed to figure out a bad girlfriend that needed to be fixing. That's what psych people do. She'd probably say the same thing. So I decided I could do better, but by going to law school, I could really save the downtrodden that way. So I was enrolled at Gonzaga. My neighbor managed a big retail store, and I wired the 4 wires on his boat. And he said, "You should come to work for us." That's how I became a jeweler. This is 71. And I wasn't really interested in jewelry. I liked the mechanics of it, and I liked what it did for people. After 11 years there, I went on my own for this reason. And we've set this office up so that we have offices, we can get to know people, it's one-on-one, it's personal, and we can touch their lives with our product. It's not about shoving diamonds over the counter and making a profit. It's about what we do today will be a nice quality product for mom and daughter and granddaughter. And so they say Amway isn't about the soap, it's about the recruiting. We're not about the diamonds, we're about touching lives.
So there are some people out there that consider an appraisal, they don't see the value in it, they maybe think that it'll take forever, that it'll be extremely expensive. Could you tell us a little bit about the normal appraisal process for someone's, let's say, their engagement ring?
Yeah. Well, an appraisal is not for everybody. I would think an engagement ring is something that you wore all day that had a fair amount of value. Be a diamond now. Should be appraised. As a psych major, you had to write so that anybody else could replicate that study that you did. And an appraisal is the same way. Somebody has to be able to look at that appraisal and replicate it. And we can tell a small town appraisal from a big town appraisal because they just don't have the experience and they don't have the language and they just don't see as much. I think the benefit that, I'm not talking about us per se, but the benefit we offer is we work with all the claims offices, so we know what the insured needs. The fact that we work with the claims offices, what every claims adjuster wants is they want the claim to go away, they want to get a fair value, and they want a happy customer. So they just turn it over to us, and we get it done. We typically do appraisals in less than 2 days. I called around. I've got a little price sheet, and I'll give it. I think the thing about an appraisal that's important for a customer, if somebody has a $5,000 R-cost item and a jeweler will sell it for $10,000, they appraise it for $2,500, so you think you've got a smoke and buy. They'll appraise it for $1,500. $10,000, hold up my number, $5,000, $10,000, they'll appraise it for $15,000. You've got a smoke and buy, buddy. And then the insurance, they lose it, and the insurance says, well, listen, we're going to go to Austin's, and here's $6,500. So we help explain that to a customer. So they may not need to do the full-bore written appraisal. All they need to be is made whole within the next 5 years. So explain how that works so they can decide which way to go. But mostly we can talk with their adjuster. That's the key. And oftentimes when I'm telling people to pick an agency, I say pick one. It's not the insurance company, it's the agency that's your friend. They're the people that'll take care of you. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah, any other insights regarding the appraisal, insurance claims when it comes to that, misconceptions that people have, or bad experiences, maybe just things you've seen in the past where someone thought they would be covered and they were not because they hadn't had an appraisal, they didn't have it scheduled on their insurance policy, just the value of that.
I think from a customer's point of view, an appraisal is not a big dollar item for a jeweler to do, and it's not a big ticket item for an insurance agent, to sell. So there's a possibility that the insurer doesn't get followed up on to up their insurance, to up their appraisal. They get followed up on to get the new house or the new car. So somehow the insured needs to, they're ultimately responsible. They should get this thing updated like every 5 years. And you can't be an advocate unless you hear their story, because you don't know how to fix it until you know what it is. And just in the course of them telling their story, the magic happens. The trust happens. And so when we do an appraisal, we're the first line. We have one with USAA right now. And USAA is a for insurance, is for officers and military, as you know. They don't want to pay much. And they have their own diamond sources, and I know these sources, and the diamonds aren't graded accurately. So in this case, it's a $24,000 loss. I tell the gal, I have to go through their sources, but if you cash out, then I can go through my sources and I can get you more value. Again, that advocate thing. And then, as I digress, that poor woman, we're allowed to charge, I think with USAA, 20% over our cost on this $11,000 wholesale diamond. 20 over cost isn't going to get her anything down at the retail store. So she's kind of stuck with us. So we have a really big time responsibility to do the right thing for her. And she doesn't even know what questions to ask. All she knows is that this was Grandma's diamond. I mean, how do you replace a little shop? It's really hard. But you just do it by. I talk a lot about your heart bone. That's kind of sissy talk for a guy, but that's important in our business, I think. I think I beat that question up enough. You got any more?
How about the reason for the appraisal every 5 years? Is that because of the values changing drastically in that amount of time?
Yeah, values do go up. I would guess in 5 years they're up 30%. And I think I just became a power of attorney for my sister and my mother. And a power of attorney that's 4 or 5 years old, nobody pays much attention to because they consider it outdated. And the same with appraisals. Old appraisals don't seem to have the credibility that newer ones do. And there's just more risk to the insured and less money to work with.
Okay. Well, that concludes our interview with Dan here at Austin's Jewelers. We'll have all the links on how to get in touch with him. And we just want to thank him for his time today.
Thank you. Thank you.